your demons for a ride. Don't let them disappear. Make them choose they leave or stay. Feels like it's not okay. Clocks are ticking, time away. Make up your mind today. Find a way you belong. Find a place for you to stay. You should know. You're gonna grow only stronger. You gotta stay.
What's up, everyone? My name is Stephen Michaels. I am joined by Phil Robinson. This is the Raiders Weekly. We are here to preview the big game, the playoff game. Make no mistake about it. The Raiders versus the Broncos. Also, we'll talk about what the hell happened last week. But more importantly, we need a win this week. So let's get right to it. What's up, Phil?
A lot to talk about. Talking points all over the place. We desperately need a win. It's tough to say, but we are 4 weeks into the season and already in must-win territory.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, they have to do it.
I mean, you can't lose. You just can't. And the Raiders have what in front of them. They have Denver, and then of course they have Kansas City. So they can literally get back their season with 2 wins in a row. These are 2 playoff games. I mean, this is their season on the line.
Right.
There is no there's no, I know how people are like, well, it's only first it started with it's only 1 game, it's only 2 games, it's only 3 games. So guess what? And now you're playing an AFC West opponent. You already lost against 1. You got 2 coming up here. It's a playoff game. You asked the players in that locker room, why do you think they had players meetings twice this week, by the way? Why do you think they had players meetings this week? Because they know how big it is. Josh McDaniels has been telling the team, this is a must win behind the scenes. They all know how big this game is. They all get it. This is it. They have to beat Denver. And luckily for the Raiders, Denver has not looked that great this season, especially on offense. Their defense has looked okay, but again, the stats, which we'll go through, you got to remember they played against Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks, which were not doing anything on offense in that game.
Outplayed by Geno Smith and the Seattle Seahawks on offense. Not played. They were outplayed.
But they also didn't do much. They didn't score much. So the Broncos' stats on defense are going to look a lot better than, you know what I mean? Because there wasn't a lot going on in that game. There really wasn't. It was mostly running the ball. And, it was just stupid. It was just a dumb Russell Wilson. People want to say, Devontae Adams so far hasn't looked great. No one talks about Russell Wilson. No one wants to address the elephant in the room that Russell Wilson
has been awful.
Terrible.
Awful. I was looking at that like, wow, what is he? I'm so glad that I watched Seattle at the end of last year. I was like, because I was like, he can't run. He's not getting away from anyone. And his accuracy has been occasionally he'll drop a couple dimes on you, but for the most part, his accuracy has been terrible.
You talk about Derek Carr regressing.
Ooh.
Wow, Russell Wilson. And you know what the thing about Russell Wilson is too is for some reason he chooses not to run anymore. He doesn't like to run the ball.
He can't.
He doesn't want to.
No. You don't understand. He can't. The level, the amount of quick, because he's lost a step, probably closer to 2. So if you go back and you watch all of his scrambling attempts, there are times where he used to be able to clear the pocket where he just can't do it anymore. He's not, like I said, he's not running away from any of the linemen. And that was what was his big claim to fame, was that he could run away from the linemen. And once he got to break in the pocket or break and contain, and he was suddenly in open field and could use any variety of moves or run around guys. But now he's not even being able to get to open field is the problem.
Well, when I watched that Seattle game, there was a few times he could have just took off and ran for like 8 yards. Even the play-by-play guys they didn't even understand why he just, I mean, it was a wide open field, and it's Russell Wilson. So, I mean, it's a wide open field. Even if you're a slow quarterback, this guy could have picked up, 7 yards. He just and he just chose to throw a terrible pass into double coverage where he knows it's not going to be complete, or he just throws it out of bounds. I mean, he has looked terrible. Now, like I said last week, my biggest fear, remember Derrick Henry was looking bad, and my biggest fear was Derrick Henry will have a bounce back game, start looking like Derrick Henry again against the Raiders. And he started to do that against the Raiders. I don't want Russell Wilson to have a big, spectacular game off of this Raiders secondary, which is banged up.
How many yards did Derrick Henry finish with?
I think he only had like 80 yards rushing.
Yeah, so he didn't even hit 100 yards.
But you got to remember, they used them in a screen game as well.
I understand that, and that's where his numbers really got inflated, because they couldn't run the ball. They weren't running the ball that well in the second half at all, so they just snuck him across the line of scrimmage where nobody was and just let him take off from there. And I don't know why the Raiders don't do more of that. I don't know why they don't hand the ball off a lot more than the 53 times they've already done, especially when they're running for 4.5 yards per carry, which is good enough to be middle of the pack. I don't know why they're not running in the goddamn red zone. I don't know why they got this quarterback who can't throw in the red zone, throwing 30 times and dropping up 4 interceptions.
Well, I don't know why these guys that got paid money like Darren Waller can't catch a football when it goes right into his hands. I mean, that 2-point play. I mean, Derek Carr delivered a perfect football. I mean, it was
high.
It was right there.
High.
It was in his hands, Phil. If it's in your hands like this.
Yeah, no, that one, you're right. I was thinking of the pass that got intercepted.
Yeah, this one is like this. It's like this.
Yeah.
And just drop. I don't know why he's dropping balls. I don't know. I mean, Hunter Renfrow the week before fumbles the football. Concussion. Okay. Still, hold on to the football.
Concussion. This dude had brain injury. Did you see what happened to Tua?
Yeah.
Concussion. Stop.
He still ruined the game.
He ruined a lot more than the game. He took years off his life and his own brain activity.
Oh, stop it, dude. I've had 7 concussions, probably more. I'm fine. Look at me. I'm wearing sunglasses.
Picture of perfect health. Indoors with the lights on.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm wearing sunglasses inside. I'm fine. I have to because the light hurts my head.
Right. I can't make this up.
Those Brazilians, man, they hit hard. You guys don't understand. You don't understand. So, oh God. But yeah, so the Raiders, they got to get it together this week. They got to run the football. They have to run the ball this week. I mean, they're going up against a really good defensive line. I mean, Denver Broncos have Chubb is really good.
DJ Jones isn't playing. That's their run stuffer.
Well, good.
Or excuse me, I need to consult the injury report, but I hadn't seen him practicing or playing, and so for him to suddenly be doing so would be a change of events that I hadn't seen. But with DJ Jones was the guy that I wanted the Raiders to pick up for exactly that reason, to be a run stuffer and provide more of a presence and pressure up, collapsing the pocket up the middle. And if he's not going to be there, I was prepared to run the ball straight up the gut regardless. But if he's not going to be there, then that's going to be a huge blow for the Broncos.
Yeah, I don't have yesterday's practice report. Usually Wednesday tells you like pretty much, I mean, 90% of the time, if you're not practicing Wednesday, you're missing the game. I mean, there's like, obviously, things can, if a guy's sick, that's different. Someone could get, obviously better by the time game day comes down. But with injuries, Wednesday is when you install a game plan. So, that's kind of, that's a big day. Wednesday and Thursdays are big days. And today, Friday is the final day where they go through everything. So today's injury report will be very interesting. And will obviously they rule if you're doubtful, you're out. I don't know. I don't even know why they put doubtful on their injury report anymore. I have not seen a player be doubtful
and play.
Yeah, and I don't in like years.
That I guess that's the designated coach's decision option is doubtful. Questionable is, maybe he will, maybe he won't. Doubtful, nah, not really. Out. Yeah, he's just not happening.
Doubtful's like pretty much. I think it. I'm in high school football. It means the doctors aren't going to
no.
clear him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the doctors are saying no, so they're saying doubtful. So the coach has to be like, put doubtful on there, but in hopes that maybe on Sunday the doctors, clear him. But it's doubtful for a reason. You know what I mean? The word doubtful means he's,
So here, real quick, let me give you a quick rundown of yesterday's injury report for Denver, or at least the positions that really have bearing for us. Randy Gregory's had a knee issue. He didn't practice Wednesday. He was limited participation yesterday. DJ Jones is in the concussion protocol, so chances are, especially with what happened to Tua, it's likely we're not going to see him. Darius Phillips hasn't practiced this week with a hamstring, and Dalton Risner, the guard, did not practice Wednesday and was limited participation Thursday. Melvin Gordon has been limited participation all week with a neck injury. And K'Waun Williams, with a corner with a wrist, was full go.
Yeah, but if they're limited, it's still a chance they can play.
That's fine. They're still hurt.
Yeah, but
they were limited for a reason.
I mean, we the Raiders got Hunter Renfrow, who's just not playing.
Hobbs is clear. It appears Hobbs is cleared to concussion protocol, or is clearing it because he was limited yesterday and didn't practice Wednesday. James is full practice. He fully cleared.
Yeah, James is playing. Hobbs, I think, is going to be a game day decision, to be honest, because he was in one of those red jerseys, you can't touch him type thing, which means he's not fully cleared.
Yeah, Morig was limited participation. Foster's been out both days, probably not going to play. Nichols has been limited with his shoulder. Perriman's been out there, is limited. Renfro's, what's up?
Perriman has been trying to play. He thinks he can play. It's up to the doctors to let him play at this point. That's another one that's going to be like a game time decision. Unless today he goes in and the doctors clear him. But I wouldn't put my hopes up too much. It's one of those things like, it's great if he does, obviously. You know what I mean? Like, but you just don't know. I mean, he'll definitely be ready for Kansas City. Definitely. But we got to get through the Denver game first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this Denver game's way too big. So, anyways, going through Denver, real quick. we'll just talk about last week real quick here, just to wrap it up. How we're here. The Raiders just simply did not execute it in the red zone once again. And instead of kicking field goals, if they could have gotten to the red zone, the Raiders would have won. Me and Phil talked about this before. This team could easily be 3-0 right now, but they just don't execute when it matters. Third downs continue to be an issue for the Raiders. Third downs, I mean, they were awful once again on third downs.
Continue to plague them.
I mean, yeah, and when you don't run the ball, again, the Raiders were playing against the Titans, who are not good at running the football, yet the Raiders decided not to run the ball a lot. Josh Jacobs was sick. We all know that, but he seemed like he was all right, once he started getting to the flow of the game. And by the way, you still have Ameer Abdullah on your team. There's supposed to be a running back by committee. The guy has 0 carries on the season. I mean, he hasn't been handed the ball once.
May I offer on that? Said Josh Jacobs, yes, he went sick. Yes, he flew on his own plane just so that he wouldn't be around the team, just in case, as a precautionary measure. Josh Jacobs through the first half was averaging 5.5 yards per carry, and he did that on 10 carries. And I believe, and I looked at that, and then I looked at the second half, and for all of the game wasn't close enough to where we could run the football and this, that, and the third. I was like, Josh, when you were running the football, the game was close. When you stopped running the football, the game got away from you. So the game continues to get away from the coaching staff as long as they're not giving letting their running back run the football. For everybody who says that, everybody who says Carr and Adams need to get on the same page, the largest problem is your running back needs to get the football more.
Yeah. I mean, it's very rare for everything, but I mean, Josh McDaniels has been awful. This guy's got to turn being a bust, and it's just a shame because the Raiders consistent at times. They still made the playoffs. They still got in there. They still, I mean, Jesus, they almost beat the Bengals, and it's nonsense. The Raiders were right there last season. So, I mean, there's obviously a disconnect here, but the only thing that will cure this is winning. Once the Raiders win a game, they will start buying in, as far as, what the coaches are saying. Josh McDaniels, I think, will start being better once they win a game because he'll have a formula. Oh, yeah, this works. What I think he needs to do is just simply go back to doing what they were doing last season because it was working. And then go back and watch some of the Packers film with Davante Adams. I mean, I'm sure this guy's done this. He's a head coach of the National Football League. I sure hope he has. But go back and look and see what this team has done previously with the players that they have. They've had Derek Carr, there. They've had Josh Jacobs there. They've had Darren Waller there. They had Hunter Renfrow there. Go back, do what works with those guys last season, put that in the game plan, run the ball, and then throw it to Davante Adams. You know what I mean? I don't buy that Derek Carr's not throwing to Davante Adams like that Detroit Lions quarterback Dan Orlovsky said. I mean, this is a guy, hang on, real quick. Dan Orlovsky is somehow an NFL expert, right? I believe this is a guy who went 0-16 with the Detroit Lions. I believe that's the guy. This guy was the worst quarterback in football, and somehow he's an NFL expert. He ran out of the end zone and back in the end zone. This guy, how does he get the title of an NFL expert? How? I mean, Trent Dilfer is better than him. Trent Dilfer has a Super Bowl ring. He is more of an expert than Dan Orlovsky. I mean, it's weird. It's weirdo land. I know it's ESPN and, they're a weird station to begin with, but I mean, you can't put a guy who was a failure. It's not like, they have a guy who was, like I said, was an MVP or anything. They have a complete failure talking about other quarterbacks, how bad they are. Meanwhile, this guy was the worst quarterback in football. How dare he speak on other quarterbacks in football when this guy couldn't get it done himself?
So let me ask you one question.
What's that?
Was he wrong?
Yeah, of course he's wrong.
He was wrong. He was wrong that Davante Adams wasn't wide open and that he should have got the ball for touchdowns.
No. He was right about that Davante Adams was open a lot of plays.
So all of that other stuff that you just said about him being the worst quarterback in the history of ever, not being an NFL expert, all of that came right back to about what he was actually talking about. He was right.
No. He was saying Derek Carr was purposely not throwing it.
Well, that was stupid. That was stupid. But at the same time, at the same time, it's very obvious if you look at that hook pattern that he ran and the way that play was developed, with one receiver going deep and the other one taking the flat to clear out the underneath for the hook pattern of Davante Adams, even though he was triple teamed on that play and was still wide open. I was like, yeah, there are some that was another one of those predetermined reads that he did where he just saw that there were those many guys over there and just said, nope, we're going someplace else.
Yeah, you know what? And that's because Josh McDaniels kept telling them all offseason, don't throw into double coverage. That's where your interceptions come from, blah, 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 blah. So Derek Carr does whatever the coaches say, just like he says all the time.
Now, I'm glad that you said that, because I also found in a press conference where Josh McDaniels said that Davante Adams is the first and the second option and very rarely the third, fourth, or fifth. So if you're telling me that he's the first or second option, you're showing me clips of him being that fucking wide open and then telling me that Derek Carr said he's doing what Josh McDaniels told him to do, which is not throw to the wide open guy that he set the play up for. I'm going to have to call bullshit.
Well, I'm going to have to say, listen, there's no debate here that Derek Carr has regressed.
None.
Those 3 games.
None.
I mean, he's not going through his reads. There's no doubt about it. But what I'm saying is he is purposely, I mean, look at week 1. He was feeding the ball to Davante Adams. Meanwhile, he had open wide receivers, which some of those plays could have went for touchdowns. Instead of you throwing to Davante Adams. So everyone was like, hey, including me, you got to spread the ball around a little bit here because you're just force feeding your buddy here the ball, but you're sacrificing touchdowns. Yeah, it's cool Davante Adams is getting these big plays, but you're also sacrificing touchdowns. So then in week 2, he tries to do both, and which is a disaster. And then in week 3, he just neglects Davante Adams. You know what I mean? But it's because he's not reading the field correctly. Once he can figure that out, that you have Davante Adams, this guy is a special wide receiver where even if he's double teamed, give him the chance on that ball. And what gets me is Derek Carr, just even like 3 years ago, would have thrown those passes in double coverage. I mean, how many times have we seen this guy throw a ball where we think it's going to be picked off and his wide receiver gets it? I mean, it's happened a lot in Derek Carr's career, So he's being too safe with the football this year. And he's not going through his progressions. He's just not. He's not going through his reads. He's got to get better at that. And it has to get better this Sunday.
He's not being too safe with his reads. Come on, man. He's being horrible with this read. He's underthrowing wide receivers. I'm watching him blow wide open guys completely past the defense. That pass that he threw to Keelan Cole that came up short was only 42 yards in the air. I tracked it. I was looking. He had them beat by a full 3 steps. If he puts it on him, he doesn't even have to lead it.
but he waits too long to throw the football.
That was the play. That was if you look at it with the hook pattern that the wide receiver had run to bring in the outside coverage and make sure they held it short so that he would be open on that on the circle route as he was rolling out. That was the play. Yeah. That's not waiting too long. He just didn't throw the goddamn ball.
Yeah, but he didn't throw it when he's supposed to throw it. When a guy makes a break, you got to throw the ball. This is what Josh McDaniels is trying to teach Derek Carr.
But
like, okay, Mac Jones does this all the time. He throws the ball when the guy makes the break. Therefore, he has Nelson Aguilar there. So when Nelson Aguilar goes on a slant, he goes in and out, boom, hits that post. The ball's already in the air. So boom, as soon as he turns his head, the alligator, it's in his hands. And that's what Derek Carr has to do. He has to put more trust. And I don't know if it's trust or what it is, or just regressing, but he has to throw it faster. He has to get the ball out of his hands. But I think, honestly, I really do think it comes down to he does not trust the offensive line. I think he's too nervous about the offensive line. It has to be. I don't know what else it possibly could be, Phil.
I'll tell you. I know exactly what it is.
You don't know what it is. Derek Carr played like this.
So I'll tell you why. Because the numbers tell a very compelling story when you look at him. It's not that he doesn't have pocket time, because he's tied for second in the league in pocket time. He's being blitzed at a much lower rate than he's used to. So what's happening is that he's seeing dime coverage, nickel and dime coverage, and they're flooding his short to intermediate routes and forcing him to hold the ball long enough to go deep. Now, if he can hold the ball and make an accurate throw, they're willing to give it to him, because problem is he's underthrowing the ball because his mechanics are sloppy. He's constantly throwing off his back foot or from an unstable platform and using all just his arm and none of his lower body to generate the proper amount of power.
But the good news is, last week, at least we got to see Derek Carr actually take off with his legs.
And I'll be goddamn, when I looked at it, I said, for the first person that says, yes, he ran and da-da-da-da-da, where the fuck has that been for the last 2 weeks?
I don't know, but listen, it happened. So let's just hope it just keeps continuing, okay? Because Derek Carr, the thing about Derek Carr is he's pretty athletic, and he can run. I mean, obviously he's not Tyreek Hill over there, but he can run. You know what I mean? Like, he's pretty fast. You know what I mean? For a white quarterback, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's true. I mean, come on.
When he gets some open field and really opens it up and starts running, yeah, he's faster than his running back.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
He is.
Just saying.
But it is what it is. I'm not making it up. You can compare 40 times.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like, what? Just run. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't feel like, if you're Derek Carr, okay, let's just throw what me and you and the world knows. You know, this guy's wide open over here.
Hold on, Steve. Hold on. I'm gonna take a brief intermission. We'll be right back.
We've all been through adversity. We've all been through things in our life or in football. I'm confident it'll get better, but we have to do it on game day.
Crosby brings him to the turf at the 32. To the end zone for Holland. Jump ball grabbed him. He's got a man. Bounced out of bounds. Look at that shot.
We'll just focus on Denver, get on to them and try to figure out how to put together the right week of work here so we can go out and have a good plan and compete and try to get our first W.
Okay, that happened. Denver. It is Russell Wilson's turn. Let's go. Throws the slant. Touchdown, Devontae Adams. Back in the end zone. Devontae turns around. Touchdown, Raiders.
And one. Hey, protect our home turf now. Come out with the win. Let's go.
All right, everyone. We are back. So Derek Carr, basically, he has to be more accurate. I mean, everyone knows this. And the wide receivers, they have to catch the football. There's no other way around this. But it all starts this Sunday, guys, and that's why we're here to give you the greatest pregame show in the world, and this is it. The Raiders versus the Broncos in Vegas, where the Raiders let their home fans down the last time at the home opener. Now they have a chance to redeem themselves against the Denver Broncos. Phil, what do you think about this game?
It couldn't have come at a better time. They need a win, and they need a win desperately. And to see Denver come into town is like a hungry bear just licking his chops during salmon season. They're just it's just dinner's coming straight to you. DJ Jones is in the concussion protocol and hasn't practiced all week, and it's looking like this probably not going to be his week, and that's going to be a big blow to the Bronco defensive line, especially up the middle and run support. I believe that as long as Josh McDaniels simplifies his approach and runs the football and runs power straight up the gut, it won't matter who the edge rushers are, because they won't be rushing the quarterback. And you there?
Yeah, you froze there for a second.
See, funny, you froze for me. It's weird.
Yeah, well, we're all right now.
All right, cool. So what I was saying was that the running DJ Jones being hurt is going to have a massive impact for Denver in terms of run defense. He is their run stuffer, and Josh Jacobs is averaging well up into the fours, and he's just got to get fed. They kept 4 running backs and a fullback for a reason. They need to start giving them the ball.
Oh, absolutely. And I think this game is going to come down to the Raiders pretty much being, running the football and getting the best out of Josh Jacobs. You know what I mean? And whoever else. I mean, I think they should feed the ball to Abdullah, since you have him. Zamir White. I mean, get the screen game going. Get this team going, basically, because this team does have talent. You know what I mean? And yeah, they're 0-3. There's 17 weeks this season. All right. Anyways. So in my opinion, the Raiders can crawl back into this as long as they beat Denver. And as long as, obviously, we'll get to Kansas City next week. But first, baby steps. They got to beat Denver. And when you look at it, I mean, the Denver Broncos, they are a team, they come into this game, they're ranked, I believe, 16 in total offense. The Raiders are ranked 17th. Now, remember, these stats can be a little misconstrued because of who Denver has played. The Raiders' rush offense, and this is what I don't like, is ranked 28th in the NFL. And that's got to change in this game. 28th in the NFL. Meanwhile, there's no surprise here. The Broncos, they run the ball. They're 12th in the league, I believe.
How many yards per carry are they averaging?
How many yards there?
Because you went solely based off the yards.
Hang on 1 second.
So the reason why I asked that question while he goes and handles that is because the Raiders are ranked 28th in terms of yardage with 240 yards. They're ranked dead last in terms of rushing attempts with 53. But the 4.5 yards per carry that they're averaging is 15th in the league. So it's not, so they're down there at the bottom of the league. It's not because they can't run the football. It's because they're not running the football. And that goes along my point as to what I've been saying as to what the key to the game is running the football, play action. There's a number that they're going out there and solely running offense based off the spread. And while I agreed that was something that they definitely should have in their arsenal and use, it's what they're using primarily. And they're establishing the run game early just to see if they can do it, and then going away and going straight to the spread.
Yeah. So when we look at it here, okay, so the Raiders, the total offense, like I said, they will, yeah, and they are 17th. They are going up against a Broncos defense that is third in the NFL, which again, like I said, stats can be a little. The Raiders' passing offense is actually seventh in the NFL, which was pretty good. It's just they can't score in the red zone. Meanwhile, as we know, the Broncos' passing defense is ranked third in the NFL. But again, they played against Geno Smith and all those teams. The Raiders' rushing offense, they're 28th in the NFL, and they will be going up against the sixth-ranked rushing defense. Points allowed in this game. The Raiders, their scoring offense is 10th, and the Broncos, they're second. But again, they had games that were 10 to 11 and shit like that. So that's gonna help them out. Sacks allowed. The Raiders had allowed 8 sacks.
7.
What?
It's 7.
7. Well, according to the Raiders media guide, they have allowed 8 sacks.
Pro Football Reference has them at 8, but 7, excuse me. But you're right. But whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So anyways, Denver 6 sacks. But here's the thing. Third down offense for the Raiders, they are ranked 21st. Third down defense for the Broncos, they are ranked 3rd. And here's a big one here. Red zone offense for the Raiders, 26th in the NFL against the number 1 ranked 3rd red zone defense, and that is the Denver Broncos. So giveaways. The Raiders have given the ball away 5 times, and the Denver Broncos have taken the ball away 4 times. So total offense comes down to, total defense for the Raiders, they're 21st against the Broncos, who have their total offense is 16th in the NFL. And then, of course, the Raiders' passing defense is ranked 26th. They will be going up against the 18th ranked passing offense for the Denver Broncos. The rushing defense, Raiders are tied for 15th. The rushing offense for the Denver Broncos are ranked 12th. And then, let's see here. Points allowed, Raiders ranked 24th. And scoring offense for the Denver Broncos, here's a big one, 31st. They don't score a lot of points. The Denver Broncos do not score a lot of points. So sacks, here's the one that I can't stand. The Raiders are tied at 30th with sacks. Sacks allowed for the Denver Broncos, they have allowed 9 sacks. 9 sacks. Third down defense for the Raiders, they are ranked 17th compared to they're tied with the Broncos on their Broncos third down offense is ranked 17th as well. And of course, like I said, red zone defense for the Raiders, 30th. And then Broncos red zone offense is 32nd.
Jesus.
And then takeaways or giveaways, sorry, for the Broncos. It says that they have given the ball away 3 times this season, which I don't think is updated on Raiders PR thing, because it says takeaways for the Raiders. It says 2. Is that correct?
2 interceptions, no fumble recoveries.
Yeah, so that is right. Okay,
That is correct.
all right. But yeah, so basically, I mean, they're both right there, but still, I mean, giveaways. I think the Broncos could have gave the ball away a lot more in that Seattle game, a lot more. So this is a game, basically, it really comes down to this. And it's going to come down to the red zone. If the Raiders can punch it in the red zone, they're going to win the game. Because the Broncos, they're not that great. I mean, they're really good at red zone defense. So if the Raiders can somehow, because we know the Raiders have been horrible in the red zone, break through and score touchdowns instead of field goals, the Raiders stand a chance in this game, and they can win this game, and they have to win this game, guys. I mean, there's no other way around it. I mean, the red zone defense for the Raiders, by the way, they're not no better. They're ranked 30th in the NFL, just to let you know. Their red zone defense, it's like every time the other team has the ball in the red zone, they score. You know what I mean? They are 30th in the NFL. 30th. The Raiders red zone on defense. So they got to clean that up, because I'm sick and tired of these shootouts every single week. Every single week, it's either
hold on.
What?
When you're barely scoring 20 points on offense, we're not having a shootout. Let's get that cleared up real quick.
Not really a shootout, but
yeah, we're not having a shootout here.
Tit for tat. That's usually how it goes, especially towards the end of the game when the Raiders have a chance to win, but they blow it.
So the defense has given the offense a chance to win in every single game, no matter what has gone down. The offense has possessed the football going down the stretch in the fourth quarter with an opportunity to win the game. I know that the defense has not been great. I know at times it's not been good, but I can't just sit here and listen to the defense get blamed for doing their job, getting off the field and getting the ball to the offense, and then watching the offense fucking blow it.
Yeah, but we're talking about red zone. And remember, we played 4 quarters, Phil, not 2.
4 quarters, not 2.
Not 2 quarters.
Absolutely. And we're not talking, and 2 quarters of offense and 2 quarters of defense still don't make the proper 4.
No, and you know what? That's a recipe for disaster. And we've seen that in week 2.
0-3.
I mean, that's why the Cardinals were able to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But either way, I mean, the Raiders defense will do a good job, you know, but when they get in the red zone, they can't be allowing these touchdowns. They're ranked 30th for a reason. They're allowing a lot of touchdowns when they get in the red zone.
Not getting any pressure, no attack. It's been a lot of it has been Patrick Graham sitting back in zone instead of attacking and blitzing.
All right, listen, I got to talk about Patrick Graham real quick. We were promised when Patrick Graham came into this team that we are going to see a lot of bump and run. Remember that? Rocky said, bump and run type coverage. Yep. This team, their DBs are about 5 to 8 yards off the line, okay? Off the line of scrimmage. They are giving these teams free plays every single time. It's getting disgusting, and they have to stop this. Patrick Graham was supposed to bring the heat. And listen, and I know Chandler Jones has been a ghost. That's why he was benched last week for Clinton Farrell. It's time now to give guys like Malcolm Kuntz the opportunity to go in there and see what he can do. Chandler Jones, they paid a lot of money for him. But guess what? Money is not equaling wins right now. And right now, they are 0-3 on the verge of their season ending. So you know what, Chandler Jones? Take the money and go. We're going to give Clinton Farrell and Malcolm Kuntz their opportunity, and maybe, just maybe, they can get after their quarterback, because we only got one guy on that defense running around trying to get after their quarterback, and that's Max Crosby. You won't win with just one guy on defense. It's just not going to happen. And we all know Max, what happens with him. He gets back there and then he slips. That's why you need someone else like Chandler Jones to clean up. You know, they call it cleaning up. There's no cleaner. There is no cleaner on that defense. So Chandler Jones, Casper the Ghost, this guy has been just missing in action. He has been missing in action. There is, unless he can, suddenly emerge and start being that Chandler Jones that got 10 sacks a season, pretty much his whole career, then there's no point in having him on the field. And last week, that's why they benched him. And they put Clinton Farrell in, and guess what? The defense looked a lot better. They looked a lot better. So hopefully, maybe, I mean, this guy will step it up. Otherwise, all he is basically, hang on one second. You know who this is, Phil?
That's your buddy.
That's Warren Sapp. He signed to the Raiders for money. He didn't care if they won one game or even went to Super. He didn't care. He signed for money. Okay? This is what Chandler Jones reminds me of. A guy who, oh, Vegas, there's no taxes there. I'm going to make a whole bunch of money at the end of my career. I don't really care anymore. I'm not going to win a Super Bowl. Whatever. I'm getting paid. That's what it reminds me of this guy. By the way, this guy goes for $30 on eBay. That's why I haven't opened him. But anyways, but I don't know why. But yeah. So I mean, someone's got to give here. You got to give someone else an opportunity. You have to. If this guy's gonna be that bad and not do anything, man.
So much so that you scheme it and call it a mush rush, so that he don't have to do any. He just has to occupy the spot.
Yeah, exactly. He just stand still and just be the defensive end spy almost. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. This is a defense that we were promising to be more aggressive, not be a zone defense. We just had a zone defense with Gus Bradley. So why are they playing zone so much?
And I was told that Rob Ryan was going to be assisting Mr. Graham with blitzing more and blitzing effectively. And there been effective blitzes when they blitz. They just don't do it. Yeah,
and Patrick Graham gets the final say anyway, so Rob Ryan don't really get any say regardless. I mean, he has to go along whatever he can make suggestions all he wants. You know what I mean? Maybe he'll get 3 of those a game, but that's how an assistant coach works. You don't get to call shit, and the coach does. You can make a suggestion, like I'm sure he has, like maybe we should bring some heat this time, and who knows? We don't really know, so we'll never know. But the thing is, like, this team has to bring pressure on Russell Wilson. They have to bring pressure on him because with Surtain and they have to bring pressure on this Broncos offense. They have to bring pressure, make Russell Wilson uncomfortable. That's what Seattle did. They made him very uncomfortable, and he will overthrow. He will make throws he doesn't want to make. And then on offense, you got to control the tempo of the game. Let's not forget, like I said before, the Raiders could very well be 3-0. All of their losses were 6 points or less. All of their losses. Week 1, they lost 6 points or less. Week 2, they lost 6 points or less. Last week, 6 points or less. I mean, come on, it's by a touchdown every game. So, I mean, all this team really needs is to get on track and to start winning. And I believe because these games, it's not like they're getting destroyed out there. They could flip this switch very easily, and all of a sudden in 4 weeks from now, we could be talking about how the Raiders are looking really, really good. But they need that win to really get that going. And until they get that win, I mean, and if that win comes too late, it's not going to matter if they look really great, if they're 0-7 and they go on a winning streak, or 0-8 and go on a win. They need to get hot now. They need to get hot now. They have 2 AFC West opponents coming up. I mean, what a way to set a tempo if they could beat the Broncos and then follow it up, go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. That will turn around their season right there.
Right now.
It all starts with Denver, and a team they should be able to beat. They should be able to beat this team. This offensive line, Denver has a good defensive line. This offensive line should be able to hold up long enough. And if the offensive line is really good, what do they tell you in high school? Run the ball at them.
Yep.
Run the ball at them. Keep running it. I don't care if you only gain 1 yard on first down. Run it again. Yeah, then you pick
Soften them up.
And then you pick up 4, then it's only 3rd and 5 instead of, 3rd and 10. And also this team has to stop, the penalties on 3rd downs also kill them. I mean, they got to stop that. I mean,
the phantom holds.
Yeah, I mean, you go from, 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 16, not a recipe for success, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, but I mean, when you're getting called for holding with a nice hand like this underneath the guy's armpit, right, with your thumb across his chest plate, and no jersey being grabbed, what can you do?
Well, listen, it's the Raiders. It's the way it is. I mean, this is what we signed up for. I mean, the Raiders are gonna get flagged more than any other team in football. It's just the way it is. That's why, every coach who comes in, what's the first thing they want to do? Clean up the penalties. So, yeah, I mean, we hear that with every coach that comes in. The thing is, what these coaches don't understand when they come in is it doesn't matter if we teach these guys to play the most cleanest game in the world. These refs will find a way to throw a flag.
Yep.
They will. And that's why Derek Carr sometimes is really good at getting a flag for his team, because he will be shouting and, oh my God, you see that? You know what I mean? Like, he's good at convincing these refs. And him being such a nice guy, I think sometimes helps the Raiders. Because, I mean, if you look at the last, since he's been here, at least the last 4 years, the Raiders got a lot of favorable calls, on 3rd down where they should have been a punt, all of a sudden, holding on the defense, because Derek Carr shouting and, oh, did you see that? So Derek Carr has helped in that aspect where they have gotten calls their way and saved them, to get a first down. That's going to happen in this game. This is a game where I think the Raiders could absolutely win, Phil. I really do. I think they can go in there and win. I think they could have won the last 3 games, but this is a game where they need to win. There's no more, I think they need to win. Now, I won't pick the Raiders to win because I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what a Raiders win looks like because I haven't seen it yet. But they need to go and execute. You need to get Davante Adams involved. Darren Waller needs to catch a football. I mean, you're not going to have Foster Moreau this week.
Nope.
Yeah, so Darren Waller. Yeah.
Jesper Horsted.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's the guy that, looks really great. And if he is, and if he's outplaying Darren Waller, well, guess what? I don't care how much money you pay Darren Waller. I'm sick of these contracts the Raiders paid so far are not paying off. They're not paying off on the football field. So what do you think? Give me your 3 keys how the Raiders can win this game.
Run the football. Don't turn the football over. Throw the ball to Davante Adams.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with that. Get the ball in your playmakers' hands. Get him in Davante Adams' hands. I mean, obviously, if Matt Collins is open,
get him too. But your game plan is average at best without Josh Jacobs. With Josh Jacobs, your game plan can be next level.
Oh yeah. And like I said, this is supposed to be a running back by committee, but
nobody else is touching the football.
No one.
And they're only running. Out of 39 red zone plays, they've only ran the ball 9 times.
Yeah, and that is the part that really is frustrating to watch.
That's the easiest fix in the world. You want to get the offense on track and wonder why they're not scoring in the red zone? That's your reason right there.
Especially, though, when they're inside, they're like 3-4 yard line.
Inside the 5, they've ran it twice.
Yeah, and you know what? If you just keep running, I guarantee you Josh Jacobs is going to get in the end zone.
Guaranteed.
If you run it through, okay, he might get stuffed the first time. He might even get stuffed the second time. Go for it again. Run it again. He will get in. John used to do it all the time. You know what I mean? And like, he would get in eventually. You know, I mean, people would be like, "Oh my God, Josh!" I mean, he's going for it on 4th down, on 4th and 2, and the Raiders would end up getting it because he knew this guy will get it in eventually.
Yeah.
They did have Alec Ingold back then, who I think might be a better blocker than McDaniel's boy.
It's looking like he's getting what it is he's getting to the hole. He's not getting to the hole as fast as Engel did.
No, and I know the players were not very happy with the Raiders moving on.
They should have paid Alec, but it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, and the guy they have is a beast. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about it. It's just, he's got to learn, he's got to get to that hole fast enough. He's got to get to the gap fast enough, block that guy, help the offensive line that Josh McDaniels has such a hard time figuring out. We're in week 4 now, and this guy's we're going to have a different combo this week.
He doesn't have his starters. He just got Andre James back for the first time in 2 weeks this week. Said, John, you move, slide out John Simpson because he doesn't need to be there anymore. Dylan Parham has earned a spot on this offensive line. Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Andre James. I liked Illuminor at right guard. I thought he was solid, probably better than Cotton
this week.
But if I wouldn't be mad at him going to right tackle and you trotting Cotton back out there and running with that lineup for the rest of the season. Because honestly, I think that is their best lineup.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going with the Luminar at right tackle this week.
Yeah, or you could leave him at guard and go back to Munford, because honestly, Munford is just he's gonna be the guy, so there's no sense in hiding him.
Yeah, but I just think they trust aluminum. This is such a big game for the Raiders. Not to mention, remember they just signed
and the speed rush. You're right.
Yeah, so I mean they have to contain this, but the best way to stop a speed rush, by the way,
right at him.
Yeah,
right at him.
Run the football. But this is it, guys. This is a big game. I mean, next week I'm not gonna be able to come on here and tell you if the Raiders lose this game. Oh, Raiders can still turn around. It's gonna be very, very
ugly.
I mean,
very ugly.
It's almost gonna be like impossible if the Raiders lose this game to go 0-4 and then have to play the Chiefs, and then I mean, come on, there's no guarantee the Raiders are gonna be the Chiefs. The Raiders could end up going winless into the bye, and if that happens, I mean, I honestly think there might be some changes. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if McDaniels would get fired, but
he shouldn't.
But I mean, I think there will be changes.
Has to be.
I mean,
has to be. You're not.
But
winning.
I'm hoping we don't get there because this team is too talented.
They
are too talented. And the good news is, everyone who thought this AFC West, they would all be on. They're also not playing as good as they should be playing.
The Chargers have charged already. Have decharged. It's crazy.
Well, it is the Chargers, and they have this.
That's what happens. That's what happens every year.
Yep, it is the Chargers. And then the Chiefs, they're coming off a loss, so that's good news. You know what I mean? So it's a perfect opportunity, basically, for the Raiders to get back into it. Because right now the Broncos are in first place, and that team should not be in first place.
They won't be in it long.
No, because the Raiders are going to beat their ass on Sunday. They have to beat their ass on Sunday. They have no choice. They have to win this game. So, I mean, that's really it. I mean, the Raiders have to win this football game. And I agree with you. Running the football is the best way to do it. It just is. So, anyways, with that being said, let's go through some of these games, Phil. The other games around the National Football League, and let's pick our winners.
Do we have the last week's picks so we can recap them?
Oh, you froze me.
I said, do we have last week's picks so we can recap them?
You didn't do too well, but I did very well. You did win one game though. But anyways, this week I'll keep track this week. Usually I don't keep track, but I'm pretty good at picking games now that we're in week 4.
You got a system, right?
Yeah, it's my system. So anyways, we got Minnesota versus New Orleans, right?
Uh-huh.
And I believe the spread is Minnesota's favorite by 1.5.
And Dalvin Cook just got cleared to play. I like Minnesota.
Me too. I was gonna go with them either way. Falcons, Atlanta. It's a 1.5. Could be a 1 spread. It's a pick 'em.
On who are they playing?
Cleveland.
Without Myles Garrett and
Yeah. Yes.
Clowney.
Yeah. I'm going with Atlanta.
I'm going with Atlanta as well.
Okay. I have a feeling we're gonna lose those 2 games. Just to let you know.
I don't, but
Okay. Washington at Dallas, right?
Dallas.
I'm taking Washington.
Okay.
3.5. The reason why is if it stays at 3.5, I feel like this game's gonna come down to a field goal.
Not to what have you seen the way that Carson Wentz has been holding up
Yeah,
against
he's
the
been playing
pass rush?
awful,
I'd
but,
like
I mean-
I don't think that's gonna be the case. Cooper Rush is undefeated.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm taking Washington. Let's see what happens.
How about them Cowboys?
Seattle versus Detroit.
Ooh.
I have 2 different spreads here. One's at 3.5, and the other, yeah, we'll do the 3.5 one. That's DraftKings. So 3.5 spread.
Give me the Motor City Kitties.
Me too. I have a hard time ever betting on Geno Smith. I just do.
I couldn't blame you.
So, and then Tennessee at the Colts. Was the Colts game against KC a fluke? This is a 3.5 point. They're a 3.5 point favorite against Tennessee.
That is, don't believe the hype. That is a flat out lie because Jonathan Taylor has missed practice for the first time ever in his career.
And so who you taking?
I'm taking Tennessee.
Me too. I think we're probably going to agree on all these games. Chicago versus the New York G-Men.
Give me the G-Men.
They're 2.5 favorites, but
give me the G-Men. Justin Fields has been awful. Their offensive line has been awful.
I know. I don't trust Daniel Jones same way as Geno Smith, though.
Saquon Barkley has been back to looking like he was out of.
Is he healthy?
Yeah, and playing well.
Okay, I didn't know if he got hurt or anything last week. I'm taking the Giants too. Here's a weird one: Jacksonville versus the Eagles.
Woo!
I have 2 different spreads here, but one says 6.5. The Eagles are favorite.
Yeah, by a touchdown at home at Lincoln Financial, or are they in Duval?
I'm pretty sure they are at home. Yeah, they're at home. The Eagles
by
are
7.
Yeah, basically, yeah, by 7 either way. Now remember, the fans are going to be going nuts in Philly. You gotta take that into account. They're going to be really loud. They're undefeated.
The fans can go as nuts as they want to, but the problem is that Jacksonville has nobody to block Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis. Give me I'm taking the Eagles by 7.
Me too. I'm taking Eagles as well.
I had to think about that. Yeah, I had to really think about that because I was like, boy, Jacksonville's been on a roll, and I know Peterson's gonna want to come back and beat his old team for firing him.
Yeah, exactly.
But those 2 monsters in the middle, I was like, he got nothing for him.
No, and the Eagles have been playing very good.
Lights out.
Here's the worst game of the week: the Jets versus the Steelers. The Steelers are favored by 3.5.
That's all they're getting?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Me too. Buffalo versus the Baltimore Ravens. This will be
in Baltimore, right?
Yeah. This will be basically 3 points, 2.5. So
for Buffalo?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Me too.
Buffalo about to
Um,
blow Baltimore out.
I don't think they'll blow them out. I just think they'll win.
Well,
by
no, they're not. They're not going to blow out Lamar Jackson, but I know that they're going to come out.
They're mad. They're
Yeah,
mad. They're
spirited to say the least.
They're really mad about
Yeah.
that lot. They're gonna come out and just
Yeah, spirited with
Yeah.
effort. Lots
so
of it.
and then we got the Chargers versus the Texans in Houston, where this is depending on, I got different spreads. It looks like a 5-point spread for Chargers are favored, obviously, against Houston. The game is in Houston.
Give me Houston without Rashawn Slater and a quarterback who's got broken rib cartilage and who's predominantly worried about pressure coming up the middle. Now he can be hit from the blind side, square in the back, right in those ribs. I'm not like it. And once Justin Herbert goes down, that's the end of the Chargers season.
Yeah, but he's playing, and I think
he's going to get hit. He's
Chargers.
going to get hit. Mark my words.
I'm taking the Chargers.
I'm taking Houston.
Okay,
They'll cover. I think they'll beat them, but they'll cover.
Okay, then we got Arizona and Cardinals. It's a pick 'em.
Arizona is the Cardinals. Fool.
I mean, Arizona and the Panthers in Carolina.
In Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Arizona. CMC is supposed to be a game time decision.
Okay, I will take Arizona. New England versus Green Bay, 9.5 favorite. Also
by 10.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was trying to tell you.
Give me the Pats.
I'm taking Green Bay.
I think they'll cover it. I think that the Pats will lose, but I think they'll cover the 10.
Okay, Denver and the Raiders. Raiders are favorite by 2.5.
Give them to me.
Me too. Even though I don't like picking them because they haven't won a game.
They only got to win by a field goal. I can almost guarantee that.
I think that's how this game probably will be won. So the Chiefs and Tampa Bay. It's a pick 'em. It's a 1-point game. I'm picking Kansas City. I just think Kansas City. Tampa
Are they
Bay,
at home?
It's in Tampa Bay.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be in Miami. They moved the game because of the hurricane.
Oh yeah. Well,
Mike Evans will get a chance. I got to go with Kansas City too because they just don't have anybody blocking in front of Tom, and
I just don't see it happening. The Rams versus 49ers. Another one. Niners.
Rams have been terrible.
Dude, Jimmy G looks awful. I'm taking the Rams. Yeah, that's it. That's all the games.
Jimmy G was rusty.
Oh yeah, right.
He didn't have a training camp. He'd been hurt.
Yeah.